party, but as the leader of a coalition. The partners in this coalition might have differences of policy, of personality, of emphasis, but what binds us together is stronger than what sets us apart. And in that sense, we're very much like the people of South Africa. The people of South Africa and our capital city have got more in common, more shared interest, shared values than we have that sets us apart. And it is this unity of purpose which I hope our coalition will represent. Each of us, no matter what our race, political affiliation, where we live, we want to build a capital city that works, where there's clean, effective, corruption-free administration, secure, continuous supply of basic services, and value for the rates, tariffs, and charges paid by ordinary people. We want to build a capital city that works for all of its people, one that improves the lives of the poor and that creates opportunities for people to move up in life. We know in our heart of hearts that this city will only be a good place for any of us to live in if it's a good place for all of us to live in. A city that works and one where no one is left behind aren't two separate cities. These aren't goals that are at cross purposes with each other. In fact, only a city that works can deliver to all of its people. We do look to success stories in the Western Cape Town, places where government has been established, capable government, and we draw inspiration there. But we want to implement a plan to build a capable state and a strong coalition here in the north of the country. But, councillors, this vision is only possible if, in the next few months, Tshwane avoids the fate of so many other municipalities in this country. We have to get control of Tshwane's finances and bring our spending in line with what the city can realistically collect. This is as an important task as responding to the findings of the Auditor General and building up the financial controls that have been broken down or that have never existed. In the past 3 years, this city has faced a combination of factors that has had a devastating impact on our finances and on the financial recovery that we've embarked upon in the past decade. Excessive salary increases negotiated outside of collective bargaining and out of proportion to what is paid in other places. The COVID-19 lockdown, prolonged by national government, the unlawful intervention by the Gauteng provincial government, and of course, the devastating effect of permanent load shedding, destroying our infrastructure, driving vandalism and theft, reducing revenue, and encouraging residents not to pay for services. There has been zero compensation by national government for the effect of load shedding on local government. And so we have to talk to national next few months. We have to return to the core mandate of local government and find affordable means to serve our constitutional mandate. We have to reduce our dependence on Eskom and find alternative ways of supplying our own electricity needs. If we don't make these bold changes, if all of the municipalities outside of the Western Cape don't make these bold changes, then we won't be able to fulfill our constitutional obligations. In embarking upon these changes, we just have to remind ourselves, local government and this municipality does not exist for the councillors or the staff or any particular interest group. It exists for the residents of our city, not just the residents that are here now, but future generations of residents. Whatever changes we make, we have to ensure that core service delivery is not compromised. Because if we compromise on core service delivery, if we simply cut in order to match a budget, then we will lose the trust of ordinary people. Colleagues, what has happened in our politics and in this council chamber in the past 4 weeks has been deeply unfortunate, and I hope we have reached a turning point. The people of Tshwane look to us to resolve our differences in an orderly way that avoids violence and hatred, and that does not disrupt the functioning of government. No matter how low debate has sunk in this council, it can never be acceptable for us to threaten each other with violence. If elected representatives behave in this way, it destroys the trust that we have with ordinary people and the trust that ordinary people have in our democracy. Let us break this culture now, and so I extend a hand of cooperation to all of the political parties in this council, but especially the opposition who did not vote for me. I have sat in the opposition benches in this council before, and I do know the difference between a mayor that listens to the opposition and one that simply ignores the opposition or that treats politics as a form of war. There might be time for battle, but there's also time for deliberation, for earnest debate, for empathy, and for cooperation. Each of us, no matter how politically warm-blooded we are, must love our city and our country more than we dislike each other. That is what the Constitution expects us to do. That is what the people of Tshwane expect us to do. Let's have our differences set aside at certain times. Let us restore the kind of debate that we had in this council just at the dawn of democracy, as well as in the 2000s, where the opposition and the government could talk to each other, issue by issue. Let's try to find each other item by item, even if we don't serve in the same government. Because we do have matters of common interest. We do have budget items that will serve all of the communities of this city. Colleagues, in conclusion, let's build a capital city that works for all of its people, and let's restore the hope of so many people in the city